Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Saturday morning here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go across to our friends over in the US, and we're heading to the east coast of the States. And of course, we're heading to Brooklyn, New York. Of course, heading to a pretty big game tonight. Of course, at the moment, this team is riding a 4-game winning streak at the moment after dropping the first 2 conference games of the season. Of course, they've got FDU later tonight. Their time, and of course, they've also got Bryant at home as well on Sunday their time. Of course, they're at the Bryant at Brooklyn Heights, and we've got a very special guest. Of course, she is from down here in Melbourne. Her name is Sheridan Kavanagh. She joins us right now. Thanks, Sheridan, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Well, as I said, 4-game winning streak after dropping the first 2 conference games. Must be reasonably happy where the team's at the moment.
Yes, the team is all riding a high right now. I think we're playing with a bit of a chip on our shoulder as well, considering we got the first 2 games kind of taken off us due to COVID regulations, which is annoying because we could be 6-0, but we're 4-0. So
luckily, last week you didn't have to go far for your games because just around the area, because you play Wagner and LIU, and of course won that pretty easily. Obviously it was a very low margin at the end. Tell us, what did you learn from those 2 games?
The Wagner game was tough. We came out and didn't have a lot of energy to start the game off with, but we do well coming back at teams. So we came back really well against Wagner and just had more energy in the end, more grit, and took it away from them. Which is really good. All the girls were really happy with the game. I think everyone played extremely well. So I think we did really well there. And then the LIU game, again, we didn't come out very strong, which we're working on, starting off a bit better. But we finished really well, and we were just more tough than the other team. And that just pulled us across the line in the end.
Now, you mentioned about the slow starts to games, which has been a bit of a common theme this year for your team.
Yeah.
I guess going into the game against FDU, which is your first of 2 games that you're going to be versing them this season. Obviously, you got them again on the road, not too far to be honest, across the Hudson River. But I guess is the plan to hopefully at least get off to a decent start compared to and not get behind?
The plan is always to get off to a decent start, but we just haven't been doing that recently. So this game we have like key focuses to try and make sure we don't let them get on a roll and we can get on a roll. So we're hoping that we can do better than the last 2 games, the last few games, I guess. So we don't have to, play really well in the 4th quarter just so we can win a tight game in the end. And that's like at practice as well. We've been working on that, like trying to go harder and have more energy and more intensity. So hopefully it's working and we do better this game.
Shooting, obviously, you'd be hopefully to back up at least another 2 from 2. Of course, you do play Bryant a bit later on in the weekend.
Yes. So we haven't had a scout on Bryant yet, so I don't really know what to expect from them. But I'm hoping if we can win today, then we'll be on a high and we can go into that game on a high again and hopefully carry on the win, like carrying on that intensity into the next game and play really well. I think we do, when we're coming off a win, I think we do well in the following game because everyone's happy, everyone feels good. So hopefully the same thing happens this weekend.
Due to the New York restrictions and all that sort of things, obviously fans haven't been able to come to games due to restrictions and everything like that. But when you did have fans in the stands, how good was it to play in front of those fans there?
It was really good. We've had fans this whole year, which has been really lucky considering last year they had no fans. So it's been really great to have that atmosphere. The crowd getting into the game, even if it's an away game. Like it feels good to be supported and be cheered on by people other than your teammates and coaches.
Tell us a bit about your coaches there at St. Francis.
They're really good. They're always supportive, encouraging, always helping you get to your best, push you. And they also, they've got a good balance of, this is basketball, but then this is also, you have a personal life outside of basketball, which is really good. And I'm really grateful for, because I know a lot of coaches, they only care about basketball. Like in college, they only care about basketball, and they only want you to do basketball your whole life. So I think it's good that they can help us separate, personal life from basketball. Yeah, and they've just been really good overall.
How's it been like being in the Big Apple? Well, sort of the Big Apple. Obviously, you're a little bit off that in Brooklyn, but how's it been like being in the basketball mecca?
It's good. It's I think it's very different to most college experiences, because we don't have that campus life. We don't even have like, a cafeteria that we can go. Like I know a lot of people have like the cafeteria. They've got, their dorms and everything, like all in the same kind of space. But we've got our dorms are in a separate, like completely different area to the building that we play in. Which is, I like it. It's it feels more adult. Like I feel like I'm living a real life, which is good. And then also having the city like just across the water, it's great. Like if I ever have a bad practice or I'm not feeling great, I can always just take the subway, like 2 stops, and I'm into the city.
Let's talk a bit about your team. Obviously, I think you've got a couple of seniors in your team at the moment as well. Have you convinced any of them to stay on for next year due to obviously their eligibility for due to COVID year last year?
Well, two of our players, they are going to graduate. They have to graduate. They've done their 5 years. And the other 4 that are graduating, I hope we've done enough convincing all the younger players to keep them on, because they are really a really big part of the team, and help us get through all these wins. So I'm hoping they'll stay on. No one's really decided yet, so still waiting for them to make their decision.
I just realised that we mentioned about the Wagner game. You've got them again the following weekend as well. I guess I'm assuming you don't have to do much scouting for that Wagner game the following weekend.
The weeks feel like they're turning into like days apart. Like I feel like we just played Wagner, a day ago, but it's really been a week. I think it'll be a tough game again coming up against them, because it'll be their home court advantage this time, and we'll both know each other's moves and plays, so that'll make it a bit more of a challenge. But I think our team's up for it, and we can take it.
Obviously, you've been over there in Brooklyn, New York. Sorry, I should specify Brooklyn Heights, New York. How you've coped over there, and have you missed home yet?
Yes, I miss home all the time, but I was a little bit homesick at the very start when I first came over here, obviously because it's such a big adjustment moving across the world, and you don't really have anyone yet because you haven't made friends, and so it was difficult when I first came here. But now, like my parents actually came over for Christmas, my whole family did. So that was really good. I was able to hang out with them, spend time with them. So the homesick I haven't really felt since the start, which I'm really fortunate for. Like I know a lot of people don't get to see their family at Christmas time. So dealing with homesickness isn't really been a big issue for me. And I've got such great teammates. It feels like another family here.
I know you're not the only international that's over there at the moment. You've got a couple of other teammates that also are international, especially from Europe. Have either of them helped you out in regards to, to cope, to be away from home?
Yeah, for sure. Having I think four other girls on the team who are internationals and have gone through the same thing, it's been like really good just to be able to talk to them, and I can relate with them on so many different things because we're all from different parts of the world. So in coming to America, we're always talking how different America is to back home, or like how we miss home, or just talking about things we do at home that we can't do here. So it's really good to just be able to, you know, connect with them on that kind of like home level.
Well, you might as well tell us your fellow internationals that are on the team, and what have you learnt from each of them? Obviously, being in completely different parts of the world.
So there's 2 girls from Hungary. We share a suite together, a dorm, through an SD, and then another one from Serbia. Her name's Nev. She's our point guard, and then Kalia, who's from England. I can't touch on anything specifically that I've learned from them, but they feel like close. They feel closer than friends. They feel like family because they are international girls, and I just feel like, you know, we always get along because we can always talk about something.
So obviously you're from down here in Melbourne, as most of our listeners will know. So how did you get involved in the sport?
My dad actually played basketball professionally, so I got involved because of him. He was coaching, and then I was always around, so I picked up a basketball and started playing. But I didn't actually get serious until I was like 14 or 15. I didn't start taking basketball seriously until about I was 15 years old. And then that's when I kind of started to, you know, get in the gym more, get more shots up, really focus on on me and my skills and ability as a basketball player.
You might as well give your local basketball association back home a bit of a shout out.
Yes, Melbourne Tigers. A great club, played for them my whole life. Hopefully I can continue to play for them when I come back after my college career. They've been really good to me.
And what would be some highlights throughout your basketball journey so far?
Some highlights, probably just being able to play and make so many friends through sport. I feel like a lot of my school friends who didn't play sport, they never really were able to make friends outside of school, but with basketball I was able to make friends, and you know, I have friends from my under 12 season that I can still talk to, which is great. I love that about basketball. And then of course the tournaments and all the championship games we've won, definitely highlights.
I have to ask, and I guess it's this question sort of in behind the last question I just asked, which is, what does the sport of basketball mean to you, and especially being there at St. Francis, Brooklyn?
It holds a really special place in my heart. I just think it's just a sport that I love, and playing it, I feel like all my worries in the world kind of go away when I'm playing basketball. So that makes it pretty special to me. Yeah.
What would be your advice to people that should get involved in basketball back home?
To keep working at it. It's a slow burn. You know, just keep going. Even if you're not making the first teams, you're not making the state teams, it doesn't matter as long as you're working on it yourself and you're putting in the work, you'll eventually get there. I actually didn't make a first team until I was in under 16s. Right. So, if I can do it, everyone else can do it.
Now, I know you would know this time of the year here in Melbourne that it would be the ultimate Dandenong Junior Basketball Tournament, as you've been involved in quite a lot of those. What would be advice to those kids that are about to encounter that tournament, and especially for the first time?
Be ready for a lot of games. They throw like 6 games at you in 2 days, so take care of yourselves. I was never really into doing stuff pre-game and post-game, but make sure you're stretching right, you're focusing on your body if you've got any injuries, because it's really important later on if you want to continue playing basketball. and just play your best.
Who's the comedian, the best singer, the best dancer on the team?
The comedian of the team, I mean, everyone's pretty funny, but I think Jada McMillan, she's very funny. She's just someone that you're always either laughing at or laughing with about something. The best dancer is probably Jayla Lee. She's always dancing, so she can't not be the best dancer. And the best singer, probably Ali Lesson. Yeah.
I always ask these next three questions to all the Aussie players that are currently over there at the moment. The first one is, have you convinced any of your teammates to come down with you to Melbourne during the off season?
Yeah, they're definitely excited to come visit Australia, if not this year, sometime in the future. So yes, definitely done some convincing. Whether they're coming back this year or next year, not sure yet, but they are all definitely very excited to see what happens down in Australia.
How's the Aussie accent going around your teammates?
It's good. There's a few words at the start that they like, what are you saying? What? But now it's good. Like, I think they're all used to it. And I'm used to their accents as well. Because at the start, I would just think that I was in a movie because everyone speaks with an American accent, and it's yeah.
Have any of them tried to mock the Aussie accent?
Yeah, but they sound more British. Yeah, I think it's pretty hard. I didn't realize how hard it is to mimic an Australian accent, but I guess it's pretty hard.
And have you convinced any of your teammates that we had kangaroos as pets?
No, I've never actually been asked that question. Yeah, so that's yet to come. Yet.
But do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
No pre-game superstitions or rituals. I just make sure I get in early, roll, stretch, do any pre-game exercises to get me ready to play, and then making sure I'm getting a few shots up and warm up with the team, and then ready to go. Nothing superstitious. I try to stay away from that. So
is anyone on the team like into their TikToks, and is any of them TikTok famous yet?
Everyone's into making TikToks. No one's TikTok famous yet. Yeah, so waiting for that too.
So I have to ask this as a follow-up. Are you into your TikToks?
No, I'm into watching TikTok. But I'm a viewer, not a maker of TikToks. I can't dance. So
That's fair enough. Now, just going back to, so these last three questions. The first one is, how supportive your Melbourne Tigers have been since you've been over there?
Very supportive. My family's a big part of the club there. You know, my three younger siblings play, and my dad coaches. So they've always been saying how like coaches asked about me and players asked about me at the club and around the club. So that makes me feel good that, you know, I'm not there, but I'm still being asked about, which is good.
Have you been to any other than obviously attending your own basketball games and playing? Have you been able to go to any of NBA games over there in the Big Apple?
Yeah, I was able to go to New York Nets, and I can't remember who they played, but I went to a game. My dad came. He had some work over here in November, so he was here late at the end of the year last year, and he took me to an NBA game.
What will be your advice to people that should watch your games and follow the team from back home?
to be supportive, just be supportive of us. We're trying really hard. We practice really hard all the time. A lot of people don't realize how much practice we actually do have, and what goes on in the background. Like the coaches put together a big scout. Like we lift, during the week. We practice really hard. We're always running, getting up and down the floor, putting in extra work. So even if we don't win, we're trying and working hard.
Well, Sheridan, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show again, and obviously especially leading up to the big game later today, your time, and let's hope you can make that 5 in a row in your conference. As you're hosting FDU, and of course on Sunday against Brian. Let's hope by the end of the weekend the team's up to 6-0 in the last 3 weekends.
Yes, that's the plan. That is the plan.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. And that's Sheridan Kavanagh there, joining us from the St. Francis Brooklyn College women's basketball team. And of course, if you want to follow their games throughout the season, we'll put all the details up on how you can follow the team and watch their games on the live stream. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.